Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Welcome to our Netflix and Chill. This is our Math and Computer Science open house presentation. My name is Marcus Edwards. I'm an admissions counselor at Coppin State University, and I will be the moderator for this open house presentation for, like I said, Math and Computer Science. With us today, we have Dr. Eugene. He's going to be able to answer all of your questions. He's going to give you an overview of the math and computer science programs at the amazing Coppin State University. And I'm going to go ahead and let him have the floor. How you doing, Dr. Eugene?
I'm doing well. So let me go ahead, share my screen. So you can see my screen, right?
Yes, sir.
Awesome. All right, good afternoon. Nicholas Eugene, Chair of the Math and Computer Science Department. So we're in the department, we're a very small department, but very diverse. We have 3 computer science faculty members and 10 faculty members. So it's relatively small, but in terms of diversity, I think we're very well represented. Um, so what I wanted to do is just well, ask the question: why would anybody want to major in math or computer science? So I'll try to focus on math because it's a little bit easier to for students to justify why they would want to major in computer science. But I think it's a little more difficult, right, for students to say, well, I want to major in mathematics because a lot of the times, what they think of mathematics is just teaching or just numbers. But actually, in mathematics, a student majoring in mathematics usually they end up going into business, they go into law, they go into banking, medicine, and for most of these majors, if you're thinking of going to a professional graduate school, like I said, business, law, medicine, pharmacy, it's a great major to have. And in fact, from the National Institute of Education, they indicated that for students majoring in mathematics, they usually score 12.8% and 13.3% better on the LSAT and the GMAT. So the LSAT is what students, the the um, the test that usually take to get into law school, and the GMAT is the one students take to get into business school. And majors in mathematics usually do a lot better than students in the other majors. So one of the things that mathematics does, it really develops your ability to think and to solve problems. So it's one reason why you could think of majoring in mathematics or computer science. Another reason you could think of the salary. When you graduate with a mathematics major, um, if you compare that major to, let's say, a major in English, um, then a student who graduates with a mathematics major makes 37.7% more than a person who graduated in English, on the average, that is, of course. So kind of think about this. If you're an English major and you graduated and you got a job for $70,000, then you could expect that that mathematics major would probably make about 96. So looking at $26,000 a year, that's about 2,000 a month difference, and so it pays well, and and you could even think about a lot of the times when you think of majors and you think about a salary, well, that's not all that important, right? Because you could make a lot of money and then you're still not satisfied with your job. So, in terms of job satisfaction, mathematicians and actuary is actually a type of mathematician that works in insurance. And so, when you look at the job satisfaction rating of actuaries and mathematicians, they actually rank very high. And if you compare this to an attorney, it's number 60. If you compare this to like a surgeon is ranked way below that. So, although as a surgeon, you definitely make a lot more money than a mathematician, but again, the job satisfaction is not the same. So, so that's basically part of the reason why you can become a math major or computer science. Computer science, you sort of do some of the same things that a mathematician would do. There's a lot of coding, there's a lot of math, so you could transfer some of the skills just like an engineer. Um, but let me just give you an idea of what some of our mathematicians are doing, right? People who graduated in math with math degrees and science degrees and see what they've done. So here's this guy, Keith Pettiford, who graduated from Coppin in 1994. Actually, Keith and I graduated together in 1994, and we both graduated in mathematics. But right now, Keith is the vice president of risk execution at JP Morgan Chase, and he has a doctoral degree in business administration. So again, that transfer of skills from mathematics to business works very easily. Um, let me give you another example. Uh, excuse me here. Um, Let me take another example. For example, Nina Sebastian. Nina Sebastian, she did her bachelor's degree in computer science and she graduated in 2010. And she ended up doing a master's degree in information management at University of Maryland College Park. So Nina now works, she started a career working at Baltimore Gas and Electric, but right now she does a lot of work with T. Rowe Price on their trading platform. So she manages a huge team on T. Rowe Price's trading platform. So again, that transfer of skills from computer science to business is very evident. Here's another graduate. He graduated in 2003 in computer science, the Jimmy Chaperone. The Jimmy right now is the director of the Division of Title II payments at the Social Security um, in the United States. And he works right there in Baltimore, in Woodlawn. And the Jimmy, I actually taught the Jimmy. In fact, all of the students I taught except for Keith. But the Jimmy is responsible for the payments of 68 million no, I think it's 60 million Social Security payments, and that totals to about $68 billion per month. And so he's responsible for making sure that the payments are done accurately and timely. And I mean, and he's a Coppin grad, and he didn't graduate too long ago. It was just in 2003. So he's very young, but he's responsible for he has a lot of responsibility on his shoulders. If then let's look at this graduate, Rashad Kilichi. He's an attorney. He graduated in 2003 together with the Jimmy. They were classmates. And Rashad Kilichi started as a software engineer when he graduated from Coppin. In fact, he was also a tennis player, and he ended up quitting um, and, and he entered law school. So he finished law school, and right now he worked in a Baltimore firm for about 4 years, and then he went to Albania, where he is working in the American Chamber of Commerce in Albania, but he's also a partner to a huge firm there in Albania, where a lot of the work he does is in the energy sector. So again, that transfer of skills from computer science, and of course both Jimmy and Rashad were minors in mathematics. You could see that transfer of skills from mathematics and computer science to the business world. And let me talk about this other student, Charlene Smith. She graduated in 2017. And actually, Charlene, um, she 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 did mathematics. She graduated with mathematics in 2017, and then went to do engineering. Got directly into a PhD program in engineering at the University of Florida. And here is just a little bit of, I want to give you a little bit of highlight about the work that she did as as an intern at to get into the engineering program at the University of Florida. So let me click on here, and hopefully you will be able to see the screen. Hey Marcus, can you see the screen?
You've put in the classroom time. You've done the lab work, not to mention all the extra hours.
Yeah, we can't see the
So
video.
can you see the screen that I'm sharing?
Yeah, I still see the screen, but it's still on Charlene. So if you're showing the
Oh, it's still
video, we
on
can't
chat.
see.
So let me share the video now. I know that happens sometimes when you want to share, you have to go back and ooh, so let me see. And hmm, so
And
now
Charlene used to help me. She used to tutor me when I was a student at Coppin in
oh
mathematics.
really?
It's
Oh
good to see
really?
her here. Yeah, my freshman year.
Yeah, all right, awesome, awesome. So let me, I can't see the page. It's because the page now is on, uh, that shouldn't be too much of a problem, but let me see. That's a problem with technology, right? But you could hear the sound, right?
Yeah, I can hear the sound. I just couldn't see the video.
You couldn't see the video. So I'm trying to
Yeah.
get the video in, because now the video is in Explorer. Right? So let me see if I could. All right, so share content. But usually those videos, it shows up in, yeah, let me see this.
You should be able to when you share your screen. If you share your whole desktop, it should show everything that you see. We should be able to see instead of just showing the window. And that might help so that you can see it and explore.
Oh, um, how do I, because usually, yeah, so how do I show my whole, because how do I show my whole window?
So when you go to the share screen,
Hmm.
make sure you already did the include computer audio, and then on the left it should just say screen number one, and it should show everything that you see. So every time you switch to something else, we should see we should
I
switch.
see window and I see desktop. Oh, maybe I should share my desktop.
Yeah,
Oh, screen
desktop.
number one. Ah,
Hmm.
so can you
Yeah.
see?
Yep.
Can you see that now?
Yep.
Now it's time for some real-world
I
hands-on
didn't know that.
research. Join the next generation of science, technology, engineering,
How
and
to
math
make.
professionals at a Department of Energy National Laboratory.
Okay, here we go. That's not what I want to see. I didn't do that, did I? Um, mm, mm, mm.
I would say try to click back.
All right, let me click this back again.
There you go.
I guess y'all will have to do some editing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
You've put in the classroom time.
this is just
You've done the lab work, not to mention all the extra hours. Now it's time for some real-world hands-on research. Join the next generation of science, technology, engineering, and math professionals at a Department of Energy National Laboratory. You can start with a sponsored internship, scholarship, or a research opportunity.
I'm excited about the next generation of STEM workers. I'm particularly excited about the programs in DOE. We need chemists, geologists, ecologists, biologists, mathematicians.
I'm really glad I have Dr. Looney as a mentor because he's really enthusiastic about the work that he's doing here. I've definitely gained interest in things that I hadn't thought about before, especially in nuclear chemistry. One of my projects is to design equations that basically describe how mercury transports through our existing mercury removal processes. Trying to merge these equations so that they can make sense. I'm coming up with first order kinetic modules to basically describe the light as a function of depth in our photoreactor when we expose our samples to light. So it's pretty cool to actually conduct the experiments in the lab and then actually have on paper mathematically exactly what's happening while we're doing that in the lab. So that was
I'm
really
your host,
fascinating.
Mark Weber. I lead strategy and operations at the MIT IBM Watson AI Lab, which is a $250 million partnership over 10 years between MIT and IBM Research to do.
okay. I don't know how this came in, but anyway, this was just to give you an idea of again why let me see here. Do I need to stop sharing? I guess. All right. So, I need to go back and share. Okay. So again, this was just to give you an idea of what students major in, or when they major, what they do after they graduate, and why you want to major in mathematics or computer science. But in terms of specifics about the program, I'd like to take any questions that you have. But this here was just to give you an idea of what mathematicians do, and what some of the graduates are doing right now. So thank you for your time, and I'll take questions.
Yeah, I definitely appreciate it.
Excuse me.
I said we definitely appreciate it, and I'm glad that you pointed out that Charlene was a mathematics major and she moved on to become to the PhD program in engineering. So a lot of students, high school students are interested, and even transfer students coming into the university are interested in engineering, but we don't offer engineering as an undergraduate major. But just because we don't offer it as a major doesn't mean you can't do it. Something else that can still get you to where you need to do or where you need to be. So I definitely appreciate you for throwing that out there.
Yeah, it's one of the things where students, if they realize that a lot of the work that's done at the graduate level in engineering is really math. So engineering is a combination. It's a combination of physics and mathematics, a little bit of computer science, but at the higher level, it's really math. So if you really have a good background in mathematics, it's really easy to transfer the skills. I think what you might not be able to do is you probably have to take some undergrad courses or some lower level graduate courses in physics. But you definitely could make that transition. In fact, a friend of mine, we started our doctoral program together at Central Michigan University, and he didn't finish the program, but he already had a master's degree in applied math, and he transferred to another school and got a PhD in electrical engineering. And for him, it was very easy because he had applied math and he was helping most of the students because they did not have the kind of math background that he had. So you could make that transition very, very easily.
Great to know. A question about the computer science program. What type of internships, and more so, what type of businesses offer internships to computer science and I guess even mathematics majors at Coppin State?
Well, Coppin State don't offer the internships, right? So I think for internships, students really have to work with their advisors to kind of look for internship, and you start that process, I would say, in your sophomore year, knowing that you won't get one. But you want to get into the habit of just applying. And usually that process takes place in the fall. And you just continue, you try to work on your resume, and hopefully in your junior year, you get an internship. Let me just go back to Charlene, for example. Charlene, after the first summer, she didn't get an internship. Luckily, I had a grant where I employed her for that summer. And then the following year, she applied. She got something with the military. So that worked out well. And then she did something with Walmart the following year. And then the final year, she went to Savannah National Lab. So it's a process. It's a process, and sometimes it's about networking too. So I've had students who work at Pfizer, different students work at different, but it's really sometimes it's a connection. Walmart does it a lot, but again, it's up to the department to connect with some of these to get students internships.
I can add something too there, Dr. Eugene.
Yes.
So I guess about 3 years ago, I started this website called coppincs.com, and on it I post several internship opportunities as well. And so when you learn computer science, you can apply it to almost anything, any problem that you want to solve or that is to be solved. And that could be a design problem, it could be an entertainment problem, it could be a painful problem. And so that's anything from, designing games for PS5 right now, or helping to do contact tracing with COVID, right? So it just depends on what the problem is you want to solve. And so Coppin CS, under opportunities and announcements, you'll see tons and tons of opportunities for students to gain internships, and there's a plethora of fields, right, that offer them. And so also what is prevalent is the ability to do research. So they call them REUs, research experiences for undergrad. And that provides not only the same, ability for you to apply what you're learning in school, but it also adds a tint of research. And so being able to conduct research, or just being able to, find information in general and apply that to a problem, is a skill that is needed even if you are not in a research field, right? If you're at, Sony, and you want to figure out the best way to, or a new way to show 3D graphics, you need to do research to be able to come up with that solution. So the ability to kind of ask a question, follow the scientific method, right, to come up with a solution is something that is paramount. And so if you don't get an internship, by working for a company that is known to make a profit, you could also go to an institution or a government agency or a nonprofit and also still have the same or similar benefit from that experience, but just do it as a research experience. It's still considered an internship. Also at Coppin, there are several computer science faculty and faculty in general that are doing research, and students can actually get a research position, research assistant position with faculty in the department. So there's a number of ways, that, like Dr. Eugene mentioned, he had grant money. He was able to pay Charlene. There are other professors who do the same thing. They get grants to work on projects either throughout the year or over the summer, and they can also hire students to participate and contribute to those projects. So internships are very, very much available, especially because there's just a lack in qualified people to fill jobs in computer science right now. So there are a wide array of internship opportunities that are available. I would push back on something Dr. Eugene said, in that instead of starting in the sophomore year to try to get one, you probably should start in your freshman year, and by the time you're sophomore, you can have one. The more experience you have, the better, because every computer science curriculum has the same core classes. Employers are interested in what you do outside of the classroom, so they're going to want to know about your projects. And if you have none to talk about, that says a lot. And if you have 3 summers worth of internships and 2 semesters of working with a professor on extra projects outside of the classroom, that is totally going to kind of make you shine a little bit more than your counterparts who haven't had those experiences. So I just wanted to share that.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. And just to throw their website out there one more time, that was www.coppincs.com. Great. So another question. So in 2016, Coppin State opened up its newest building on campus to date, the Science and Technology Center. How does that building play a role in the student experience for mathematics and computer science majors?
Well, the building itself, will not transform everything that happens for students, right? It's not just
Right.
It's just not the building. It's to me, it's about the people in the building. But it's really nice to have some of the some of the classrooms that we have. I mean, the classrooms are just out of this world. You have the latest technology. The classroom, most of the classrooms have computers in there that students could do work on. We have cameras, everything, all the lectures gets recorded, or at least instructors have the ability to record all the lectures, and the student can view those lectures at any time. So that's available for the students and for the instructors. We have classrooms where the instructor could switch everything around. There are classrooms with about 4 monitors, where students could work in small groups. I think in the building itself, we have areas where faculty have their own labs, like Dr. Hatley and Dr. Providence. So the building it's amazing. I don't think you'll find many other buildings in the state of Maryland with the technology and the work areas for students to collaborate like we have. But at the end of it all, it's about the people that brings the building to life.
Right.
In the building.
I would agree on the majors, the sciences, the maths, they're all in that same building. And so it's easy to just go on the second floor where the sciences are, math and computer science, we're on the third floor. It's easy to go down there and check out one of the labs that's happening, one of the labs that's in the classroom that's going on, and collaborate with either other students or other faculty and talk about what they're working on. The nanotechnology center is on the third floor, so it aids, the fact that we're all in the same building aids in collaboration. But I think one of the coolest things that you would see about the building is the penthouse view, right? I take a lot of visitors up there. It has a very unique view of Baltimore City. But what's cool about it is that there's a garden that collects rainwater, and the rainwater is used to help cool the building, right? So the building is really cool in that it's helping to sustain itself in a very efficient manner. And so I think Coppin even received an award for being such a building that uses natural resources to cool or heat what's inside, and that, like Dr. Eugene said, are the people. So the building is a really unique place, just how it's made, but more importantly, like Dr. Eugene said, the people that are inside.
Yeah, like I really like the collaboration spaces for students. Like I think in front of each office, there's a huge table and there's a huge monitor where students could connect their iPhones to those monitors, so if they want to make presentation. Um, there are other little spaces in corners and places for students to just relax. And again, there are monitors for them to work on and collaborate. What I'd probably like to see added to the building are like whiteboards, where students could sit down and just write and do stuff, That's that, but again, it's a new building and you can't make adjustments to those buildings. But later on, I'd like to see whiteboards everywhere where students could just work and do stuff. That would be really, really cool to see.
Great. Just a couple of more questions. You're speaking on students right now. With the school itself, Coppin State University's student to teacher ratio being 13:1, what would you say about the class sizes of computer science, just the computer science classes as well as the mathematics classes? How big are they? How integrated are the students with each other? Could you speak on that for a second?
The class sizes are small. I mean, partly because we have because of our enrollment numbers in those majors. Enrollment numbers in mathematics. Mathematics you'd usually find at most institutions that the number of students in that major would be low. Computer science, not so, but the class sizes, you'll usually find about 10, 15 students in a class, so that's pretty much the norm. Um, so in terms of how the faculty interact with students, well, it depends on the faculty, right? So different classes means, students might be working by themselves, or you might have a lecture, or you might have a faculty just coordinating instead of lecturing. So it really depends on the class. But all these things take place where students have to work in groups, students have to work alone, and sometimes it could be just the plain old lecture. Yeah. Um, and I think Dr. Hadley is there, so sometimes it's working in the lab and doing projects. So it really depends.
Right, and I think also too, one of the great feedback points that I got about the small sizes is you kind of move as a cohort. So you may find, I teach the beginning courses in the computer science plan and study. So that means I probably am like one of the first professors that computer science majors see. And so once they take this course, they meet all the other freshman majors or the sophomore major computer science majors, and they kind of will go with them throughout all their courses as a cohort to every other class in the plan of study, and you get to know people, you get to know your classmates. I tell them all the time, that I would never be surprised if before a particular cohort graduates, they form a company because they do so many projects together. They get to know each other. It's a very tight knit cohort. Each cohort has a different personality. That's fun to watch, but you kind of move together as a group, and that just kind of gives you the support you need to, when that math test is hard and that exam is hard, everybody is studying for the same one, and they can kind of get through it together.
Yep, and that was the big thing that I was waiting to hear too, is about how students come in their freshman year and basically stay together, stick together, moving throughout their entire 4-year process. And then aside from that, just that faculty help is there as well. So appreciate that. Last question, and then we're gonna be done. I get this question as a recruiter all the time. I know the answer, but let's just hear from you all. What is the difference between IT and then like your programming and coding when it comes to computer science? And then aside from the difference, do we offer all of that?
And then I'll defer to Dr. Hapley.
I totally understand that question, especially now because everybody just lumps everything together and say you're a technologist. I as a computer engineer, that was my bachelor's degree is in computer systems engineering. I am an engineer first, then I'm a computer scientist. I got a job as an IT professional, I think, at one point in time, but there is a clear distinction. IT is just that. IT stands for information technology, and it is using technology to, manipulate information or manipulate data or use it and present it in a certain way, whether that be making sure, at Coppin, it's interesting because we have a OIT department, right, that supports all the technology. And a lot of students from their freshman year on get jobs with OIT, and they want to work the help desk, and they want to help people, right? That's the problem you're solving. You're helping people with their computer issues. And so you're using technology to help them get whatever information from point A to point B. The difference between that and being a computer scientist or engineer, scientists kind of observe the world and explain it and describe it, and engineers kind of take that information and create new solutions to problems, right? So that's three very different areas of technology, quote unquote. You have using technology to move information and process it. As long as you have a working computer, you could care less about the processor speed or you're just trying to get that Excel spreadsheet done, right? And so IT is kind of helping. One aspect of it is kind of helping people do that, right? That's the traditional IT that students are introduced to and love, by the way. The second one is, being able to use technology to create even more. So I always tell my students, being able to program is a superpower, because once you do it well, and you got to be able to do it well, but once you do it well, you can create anything. You come up with an app idea, you go to coding it, and it's yours. And before you know it, you found a company, you created a company or created an app, and you're the next young Bill Gates, as they say, even though I hate that type of comparison. But it is true, right? You can create an app, and before you know it, you're comfortable sitting pretty, and you can sell it and do whatever you want. And then there's the bigger kind of creative processes where you make a game for a big company like PlayStation, like I mentioned earlier, or you're helping to solve a real important problem. And so with the engineering comes, especially now, there's something called the Internet of Things, right? And basically that means that there are all these things that we hold in our hands, and they're all connected by the internet. And that the Internet of Things and the notion of faster, less expensive computer parts enables anybody to come up with an idea and create it, right? And be able to use it over the internet. So we can change your thermostat over the internet. You can look at your security camera over the internet. You can, track your footsteps on a device you put around your wrist or a ring you wear around your finger, and connect to that data on the internet and use that data to, make decisions about your health, for instance. That's cool from a consumer perspective, right? But as a computer scientist and a computer engineer, you can create that. There's nothing says that you can't, right? And so as soon as you learn those skills and abilities, ideas will come popping out your head every other day almost. My students now always come to me with app ideas that they want support with, right? And so it goes back to that superpower in being a producer. Once you learn math and computer science, you're limitless. So yeah, that's the three. Long story short, that's the three areas. I could go off on a tangent.
Dr. Hadley, I think the students would get confused at that point. I think, but there needs to be can you give a shorter version of the difference?
A shorter version.
The difference between somebody who's a computer scientist and
a computer engineer and an IT professional.
I think you explained the information technology well. I think computer science.
So a computer scientist is someone who can take current technology and observe the science of the world around them and create better technology. A computer engineer is somebody who takes that technology and even that innovation that the computer scientists just created and use it to solve another problem. And problem doesn't have to be painful. It can be, like I said earlier, an entertaining problem, a design problem, a connectivity problem. Facebook solved a huge connectivity problem. And so, yeah, that would be the difference. A computer scientist takes and observes technology to make better technology. A computer engineer takes technology and maybe even creates it, but to solve a problem. And then you have software engineers, which are kind of in between the computer scientist and the computer engineer. And they can build software to do anything. And that's where, your creativity is limitless. Whatever you come up with, you can create. Is that better?
Yeah.
That was good.
I don't ever want to leave anything out, so I always try to put it all in there.
Thank you. You gave me a better perspective too, so I appreciate that.
Oh, you're welcome. Anytime.
So I really appreciate you, Dr. Eugene. I really appreciate you, Dr. Hadley. Where can our viewers reach you? What's your contact information so they can get in contact with you if they so choose?
They can contact me on copandcs.com. I am the one who answers all the emails unless a student volunteers to do so. But use the contact form. That's the easiest. Everything is in one place.
All right. Well, you have my email, neugene@copin.edu, and telephone number 410-951-3462. Dr. Hadley, you probably should use your official Copin email too.
Oh yeah, that comes to it comes to Copin email. It's lhadley@copin.edu, and my phone number is 410-951-6478.
All right, thank you. So guys, if you have any questions about math and computer science, these are the two that you need to talk to. Make sure you guys apply now at www.copin.edu/apply. Thank you for listening, and I hope you all enjoy the rest of your night.
All right, thank you.
Yep, thanks.